is vast and dark and makes us wonder if we are alone. So maybe the reason we make all of these things is to remind ourselves that we are not.
You've just been looking at a clip from a commercial from Facebook as they top the 1 billion user mark. We'll discuss that and more right here, right now on Digits. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Simon Constable. We're going to go straight out to the West Coast where Jeff Fowler is standing by with the Wall Street Journal. Jeff, there you are. I want to do the Austin Powers thing. 1 billion, that's a lot, right?
You know, 1 million people is pretty cool, Simon. But you know what's really cool is 1 billion people. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg wrote about today on his Facebook wall, letting the world know that he had reached that milestone. Now, to give you a sense of Mark Zuckerberg's aspirations on the world, he then went on to compare Facebook to other things that have famously connected humans, like bridges. So he also said that he has no intention of stopping here, that he wants to go forward and connect the other 6 billion people in the world.
That would mean everyone would need some form of smartphone or computer, right?
That's right. Today there are about 2.5 billion people around, depends on who you ask, but about 2.5 billion people on the internet. But presumably that number is going to grow, as potentially does Facebook. But to get to that next billion level, Facebook is going to have a lot of work to do on several fronts. Number one, it's really hard to get another billion users in this world without getting a whole lot of Chinese users. And Facebook has yet to really be able to make inroads into that country. The government there is not a fan of the kind of connecting that Facebook enables and the kind of controls that it would put into an American company over communication in country where the internet is tightly controlled. The other problem is mobile. Facebook today said they had about 600 million people using smartphones, but as they know, both for their total user count and for their future business models, they have to be getting into our hands because that's where the future of internet usage is going.
And they also have to get it in our hands in a way that makes money for them, because they're not doing this for free. They're a public company now and need to make some money to keep their shareholders satisfied. Now, there is one way to get more users. That's to get everyone to put their pets on as members of Facebook. But I don't think that does much for you on the money front, does it?
Well, I guess you can monetize pets, that's true. But there are definitely people that are going to challenge even the 1 billion number, saying like how many of those people are actually single individual people rather than people with multiple accounts or pets or people who have passed away. Facebook counts in terms of the number of active users every month. If you look at some other services, they actually say Facebook has far more users if you count sort of everyone. So it really does depend a little bit on how you count.
Now, Mark Zuckerberg says he won't stop here. He's got 1 billion. Did he specify how he's going to expand? Because it's a tough nut, this. 1 billion is a lot. And what I know is you get more and more and more market share. It sort of becomes incrementally a lot harder.
That's true, though. Internet companies have often said they have sort of a network effect, which helps them grow faster as they get larger. So it kind of depends who you ask there. But he didn't say a lot today about how he's going to get to the next billion. But for sure, China's going to have to be a big piece of that. He's visited there a couple of times, but hasn't really made any serious inroads there. Other internet companies that have tried, American internet companies that have tried to grow in China, have gone there through partnerships, which have not always worked out so well. Google famously largely pulled out of China. So that's a big puzzle. There's other major internet countries out there as well, Brazil, India. Facebook is growing healthfully in those now.
Yeah, and Brazil and India, both very large democracies and growing quite rapidly. So maybe that is where the real growth will come there. The smartphone situation is smartphones are not cheap. What about the feature phone thing? Maybe a Facebook phone that has been mooted at times in the past, hasn't it?
That's right. So the 600 million figure that Facebook gave out today was for all phones. Some of those are people like you and me with our iPhones and BlackBerries using them in developed markets like the US. Others are people on what are called feature phones, which don't do a whole lot other than make calls and maybe let you look at some of your Facebook messages. Facebook has been doing deals with mobile companies in the developing world, in places like Indonesia, to help make it easier and less expensive for people to use Facebook on those phones. So that definitely is one potential source of growth for them.
Interesting. I wonder how the Wall Street investors will react to the thought it's going to grow. They'll probably like that, but they'll want to see some dollars and cents behind it, won't they, Jeff?
That's right. I mean, in terms of Facebook's business, this kind of announcement couldn't have come at a better time. Facebook is taking a beating, as we talked about before. It's a fraction of the $100 billion that investors thought it was worth when it IPO'd in May. And Facebook executives are in New York this week for Advertising Week, meeting with Madison Avenue and trying to make the argument that advertising on Facebook is unique and effective and the equivalent of several Super Bowls per day.
Okay, well, we just saw this stock chart there up about 7 cents, which is something in this environment. Thank you very much, Jeff Fowler of the Wall Street Journal, reporting on this milestone for Facebook.